Welcome to the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast with Ros Gervais and
Laura Day, where we chat about our creative lives as artists while keeping it real and a little bit messy.
We're here to inspire creatives just like you to push past those boundaries and make art that you love. Let's dive in. Oh, hey, fellow artists. It's Laura and Ros here. We're back for another episode of the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast. And today we have my friend and my beautiful business coaching client, Kay Hustwaite, who is a textile and mixed media artist based in Ballarat, Victoria. And Kay is passionate about art's healing potential, bringing community together through art making experiences. And she has a really powerful story to share with us. So I'm so excited to have you here, Kay, and to dive into our conversation today.
Thank you so much, Laura and Ros. I was just so thrilled and excited to be asked because I've only just put it on my little manifestation radar to be interviewed and maybe to even have some, just get my message a bit further. So I was so thrilled, very excited because, Laura and I have been friends and journeying on our art, life journeys for a number of years now. And I will also introduce Sonny, who's my little Jack Russell, and he's next to me and he's going to pop out very soon. So you will no doubt see him. So just to let you know that Sonny, my little studio dog, will appear as well.
How cute. So if you are listening today and you would like to meet Sonny, make sure you go over and watch on YouTube so you can see the cutest little Jack Russell ever there was. So Kay, can I start off with a broad question for you? Because I don't know a whole lot about you and your art. I've seen your name around. Laura said so many beautiful things. But can you tell us a little bit, about where you're based and a little bit just about your art first? What does it look like and all of that jazz? And then we might dive into your story.
Okay, thank you. So I live in Ballarat, where, of course, Laura came from. I was born here, though. So I'm 69. I'm going to give you my age because that's going to come into the story later on. 69 years old. And I live in Ballarat. I have 3 sisters and I'm number 3. I was born near Sovereign Hill. Oh, that's a landmark in Ballarat for a lot of people. So I was born just near there. My dad's grandfather. Oh, anyway, in the family history, Chinese. So I've got quite an interesting Chinese goldfields background. My mum was Scottish. I might come back to that story a bit later on. So grew up in Ballarat, went to school in Ballarat, worked at Sovereign Hill when it first opened part-time, went to Melbourne and studied to become a teacher. And now I'm back in Ballarat. So I've actually been back here for 20 years, which is probably the longest that I've lived in, nearly the longest that I've lived in one place. I'm a bit of a gypsy. I'm the gypsy of the family.
I've got Hungarian heritage, so the gypsy bit familiar in my world. I love it. So you're from Ballarat, you've had a bit of a journey, you're back in Ballarat, you've been there for a while. And I think, Laura, were you saying in the intro that that Kay's art is mixed media primarily?
Oh, right.
Yeah. Did you want to describe how would you describe your work actually? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for the prompts. I did say to both Laura and Ros that I will need prompts along the way, and we'll get into that part of the journey because I have an acquired brain injury that occurred in 2014. So I will get sidetracked, and so they're going to bring me back on track. I've been a textile artist for many years. When I was teaching, I was hoping this little boy was just going to sit still, but he's not. So here he comes.
The joys of having a studio animal and, their need for attention and affection.
And he just fell. I can't put him aside because he will cry. So anyway, I'll have a few bloopers with him along the way. And so it's been textiles. So my creativity was really born in Catherine, when my ex-husband and I moved up there in, I think, 1986. And we both went up there as teachers, but my creativity was born there along with my children because I was a member of the Northern Territory Crafts Council. And in Katherine, it was a very small branch, and we had indigo dyeing, we had all sorts of surface decoration, marbling, chemical dyeing, quilters, Linda Jackson, like fashion design. We just had so many like top master craftspeople. So that's where my creativity was born. So my children have grown up with me creating for since they were born, basically. And when my parents used to come and visit, I've got beautiful pictures of them sitting with this, 3 meters of fabric that had been dyed with a flour paste resist, and they were scraping it off for me. So they used to do lovely things like that when they came up. Um, it wasn't until 2020 when COVID hit and I just moved into this home here. It's not a new home, it's a very old home, but it was a new home for me. And I started doing online classes. So I did, our friendship was 4 years deep at that stage. So I started doing, you put me onto Laura Horn. So
Hmm.
Laura Horn, and I was listening to all of her podcasts. So I started doing courses with her, watercolor, mixed media. You were working part-time for Susan Nethercutt at the time.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
I was listening to her podcast. So I started doing courses with her
Hmm.
online. And doing these online courses was part of my sanity saver during COVID. Some people baked sourdough bread and whatever. Well, I just, did new courses, and that just set me on a whole new path. So yeah, that's where the mixed media part comes in. And there's other elements to my practice too, but um, that's a little nutshell.
Yeah. And then, so shall we tie in some things that you have been alluding to in terms of your journey with brain injury and I mean, like, I guess, like our connection to like during our healing journeys, like we reconnected because you
Mm.
were doing things in the Ballarat community with textiles and things. And you had your business Kay's Creations all the way back then, and I was
Oh,
doing
I did too. Good memory.
yeah, and I was doing screen printing, and I think like we
Right?
sort of vaguely crossed paths, but then we both got very ill in different ways. But
Mm.
then we found our way together, back together in a mindfulness-based
Yes.
stress relief program, and we were both like, sort of like rebuilding our lives and
Yes.
using like our creative practice as a way to, sift through all the muck. So maybe, did you want to like dive into that story, your
Yes.
health journey, and all of that, and then leading into what you're doing now?
Okay. I'd love to. But again, if I get too sidetracked, please, I'm just giving a forewarning, bring me back because it's a lot to talk about. Um, okay, so I moved back to Ballarat after having 20 years. I'll start there. After having 20 very wonderful years in the Northern Territory. I think I've always been a bit of a, without realizing it, in my family, a bit of the, I don't know, it's not maybe the trailblazer's a word, I'm not sure. But and really going into everything that I did, like 100%. So when I was in the Territory, I was actually running workshops in the community with fabric colouring. I was running workshops with Home Economics Association because that's what one of the areas that I taught. And we were living in Darwin. We'd been up there for about 9 years, and it was a wonderful lifestyle up there. And the territory and the colours and the landscape informed my practice totally, and they still do today. And that's where my dragonfly comes from because it always appeared in my textile art because the dry season we would always get all these dragonflies. We had 2 seasons, wet and dry. And so I always loved dragonflies, but now they're very much my symbolic spiritual meaning. And I think they definitely talk about transformation and evolution. And that's what my journey has been again and again and again when I look back. So when my marriage broke up, my son Ben was going into year 10, Anna was going into year 7. and he was going to actually live in Vietnam and still is. And I moved back to Ballarat where my family are from. My dad was still alive at the time. I have a sister in Ballarat. And I taught for from 2005 to 2014 at a secondary school in Ballarat. And I was really happy there. It was very stressful teaching full time, raising teenagers. And my daughter actually got me back into colouring. And this is where crazy creation started because she got me into, she said, you've got to be doing something. You're going crazy. You're driving us all crazy. You're so stressed. So I couldn't do chemical dyeing because at the time Ballarat had a drought. In fact, you could walk across the lake because it was such a bad drought. So I discovered this lady who has, it's called Genesis Creation. She's in Queensland, and her business is based around fabric colours that work like a dye. So I ended up setting a business up with that, and ended up setting up a bit of a network around that. And that was, I actually went 4 days a week teaching 2 years before my head injury. So this date is indelibly printed in my mind, even though the actual incident I can't remember. But we were leaving the swimming sports. Really hot day. I had a really dirty straw hat on, and the last thing I remember was being a metre out from the entrance, and somehow the fascia above the doorway fell, swung, and happened to hit me. And so from then on, over the next few years, even though I still look the same, and this is what you have with, your chronic illnesses, is that people still think there's nothing wrong with you. But in fact, it took 2 years for all these puzzle pieces to drop in via a whole lot of stress and different means, that I actually had a moderate acquired brain injury. I had a fatigue disorder called hypersomnia, which meant that my battery was often as low as a quarter or an eighth, and I was just surviving. It was like having post-concussion syndrome. It's very rare, but obviously the hit caused it. And then, of course, depression, a mood disorder set in, maybe PTSD. Anyway, a whole lot of stuff, whole lot of stress with work cover, which I was thinking this morning. It's a bit of a love-hate relationship, because am I allowed to say how horrible it was and how I won't swear on here, but I could. I'm very good at letting the F word go, as Laura knows. When they tell you that as part of your vocational rehab, you've been a successful secondary teacher for like 40 years, you can now be a children's crossing. No offence to children's crossing people, they do a wonderful job. But that's what they said I could go and do. So, yeah, there were many swear words at that poor lady. It wasn't her fault. It was the system. The system was really, really, really challenging. And I feel for anyone who has to go through these systems. But my adult kids by this stage were just amazing. We've just grown together. We're like the three musketeers, we say. And now my son Ben and his fiancée Tanya live in Ballarat, which is such a blessing. And Anna's in Melbourne, and she's got a lovely partner too. And we all have animals that we love that cannot meet at this stage, a grumpy cat and two rescue dogs. But yeah, so I don't know where I'm up to now. I'm just going to take a little pause and have a drink of water, and you can ask me a question. How about that?
Yeah.
Hey, I was just following along with what you were chatting about, so I'm lost as well. But I'm loving hearing the story. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's been a lot. Like, you've been through lots of trials and tribulations, even just thinking back to all of that work cover stuff. Like, honestly, I don't know how you came out the other end, because like that, all of the medical trauma, all of the different practitioners, all the different people, but then you still remained in this amazing positive mindset. And at the top of the call, you were talking about your manifestation board. And I remember you were doing those mind maps and drawing all of those beautiful things in your recovery. Like, you were really infusing your creativity, but then also like optimistically thinking about rebuilding your life and like putting all the pieces together on like how you were going to do that. And you like took different things from like different elements and like podcasts and the workshops and like the things that you're learning at the mindfulness based things. And I know you're doing like some yoga nidra
Mm.
and you know, all your different like creative techniques and things that you're putting together, and you created like this quite beautiful, joyful life, despite, you know, the increase like the sorry, incredible challenges you'd faced.
That is a very good summary. And I've just written down the word kaleidoscope because it's a bit like that. And again, when I was walking Sunny this morning and just listening to Steph and your interview and thinking about, this coming up, and I thought after I got hit on the head and then all the things unraveled and I tried to stay, I was still a people pleaser and I tried to please my employers. I tried to please my students because I didn't want to just go, and I should have just not gone back to work. I should have been, but they kept saying, you've got to try this and you've got to try that and you've got to try this. So that went on for 2 years, but I was barely in the classroom because I just couldn't function in a classroom. But I started getting all these images, visual images. So I started doing, and I had two very, very good psychologists. My first psychologist actually turns out to be a really good friend of some newer friends of mine. And my second psychologist was the one, Kate Skilbeck, who you and I both had as psychologists at the time, who is just the most amazing psychologist. And she has this course through Open Ground, and she's very, very skilled. And so we both went to this 8-week mindfulness course in 2016. I think it was May, and went into winter. And neither of us were barely getting off the couch at
Yeah.
that stage. But
Hmm.
and so with the help of all of those things, I started art journaling, which I'd never done before. And obviously you've got memories of some of those things.
Hmm.
You and and Jamie, because
Hmm.
Jamie Main, another really good friend of the three of us now that I met through Laura, I remember us doing a mind map, a visual mind map at your place. And we got into the oils.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Got me
it.
into the oils. I've
Mm.
been diving into
Mm.
frankincense this morning. So
Yeah,
um
lovely.
yeah, and then it wasn't until October that year that you and I reconnected. We ran into each other at this Craft Alive event or something. And
Hmm.
then from there, that's everything else is history. We have just
Yeah,
gone side by side with
yeah.
so many things.
Hmm.
And I'm going to stop there again because I might
Yeah,
want to go further.
That's okay.
that's all right. That's fine. Go,
From this
Rose.
conversation for me, where this is heading is chatting about, you've obviously had a journey, you've obviously had a very major hurdle and challenge in the mix, but you seem to have come out into a really, really beautiful place. Out of all of the things that you have tried along the way, what I'd say, I don't know, the top three, what are the top three sort of things that have really helped you on your journey?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. Yeah, because my art changed and it's hard to pinpoint exactly when it changed. Um, but I think Laura alluded to the fact that I've been like a lifelong learner. So through my psychologist in particular and Kate, they've sent me they gave me all these amazing resources about neuroplasticity. And, I would read and I would watch YouTube videos and, just Google things. So I think that's been a big thing.
Hmm.
So I've always been a lifelong learner and I'll draw things from different areas without realizing it.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm going to use the word, I think I must be just a little bit of a magnet. Now, you used this word recently, um,
Yeah.
Laura, and it came up at this workshop I did last week to celebrate aging, um, where it's a project that our city council's taking on. And they have 10 women who are going to be kind of like ambassadors in this project that they've got coming up. And we had to use words to describe ourselves and our virtues. And I actually used as one of the keywords, you had to write it down, magnetic.
Mm.
because I think, and I would never have said that about myself 100 years ago, but now I'm like, I'm owning these things. I've worked damn hard to be where I am now. And as you say, I've been through a lot. So, you know, I'm just going to be who I am. And I think that I'm using the magnet in the sense that I think that I have, without actually realizing it initially, I've started to attract. So through you, and through another friend that my daughter gifted me, this beautiful friend, Alison Parkinson, who's an artist in Ballarat and is a very spiritual person as well. When Anna left Ballarat, she'd been really close friends with Alison because she used to do life modelling for it, the art gallery. And Anna said, I'm going to put you two together. So that happened in 2016 too. So I think the second one is possibly about these soul sisters. I think I've attracted and gathered these soul sisters who are just so important to me and have, they've become my believing mirrors. So I'm going to use some props. I'm going to use my first prop. Here we go.
The Artist Way.
The Artist Way, Julia Cameron. So I've actually had various versions of this book because Laura put me on to that practice as well. And that practice, really delving into my spirituality. I'm not going to go into all this, a born-again Christian when I met my ex-husband and drove my family mad. That's long gone. But my spiritual practice of being open to the universe, delving into my inner self, is a strength. And maybe that's part of that magnet thing, attracting those.
Magnetizing those opportunities and playing in that quantum space, like visualizing and thinking about like what you're wanting to magnetize to yourself.
That's been really important. And then the third one I'm going to say, this book, Your Brain on Art, by Susan Magsamen and Ivy Ross, came out in early 2023. And this is about how the arts transform us. And this has where it's taken me from, I was out of the surviving phase. I think in the early COVID years, I started to get to maybe thriving a little bit. And now I say that I'm flourishing within my limitations. I still have limitations around energy and so on. But that book about neuroaesthetics and neuro arts really just took me to so many different places. It's really started to open up. And that's the foundation of my business. When I set up a business, an actual formal business in 2022, and Laura's been part of that process along the way as a business coach. And we all know that she's amazing at that. And as a friend, then so many different things are still coming in. Like it's so exciting. And I feel like I've missed so much of my life when I was just surviving. And now the head injury is a gift. It was never a gift. It was just, but it's such a gift. It's given me more time with my children. But the way that I can now see that I have a vision and a future to help other women. And the workshops that I'm running in person in Ballarat now I'm getting younger women, and I'm getting women who maybe haven't stitched before or have had a creative practice. It's not about it's really about art and well-being. And another word that I'm using now, because I put a few things into AI as we do to get some workshop descriptions, and they said, you're a well-being advocate. And I thought, well, I'm going to take that one.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
that's a big part of, what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And it just brings me joy, and I just want to bring that joy and gratitude to as many people as I can.
Yeah, and art is therapy as well, like that's how I'm seeing it, because you've been through that difficult stage, and I think a very, very difficult experience, Kay. And I think it's amazing that you've come through it, and here you are trying to help other people to improve their lives with art and creativity as well. Because you have your own art practice, but you also run workshops. Is that right?
Yes, my art practice itself has been a bit fallen by the wayside, but when I did a mind map recently, and one of the things I've got there is to begin a new, because I did a lot of exhibition pieces for a couple of years. I've done, and that really helped to build, I guess, part of my style.
Hmm.
Um, but I've now just focusing on workshops, but keen to get back to my own practice. But I am going to start very soon, hopefully, to get into a course that I've got, an online course, when Redmond through Fibre Arts Take Two, called Embrace the Journey. And that's going to be called Weaving My Ancestral Magic. And that's where I'm going to bring in my digital. I love photography, so, and then a collaging and fabrics and paper, all of the things she has in this course. And I'm going to create I've got no idea, but it'll be a series of work using all the mediums around my ancestral history.
I love that. That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, thank you. So that's going to be exciting when it happens. But at the moment, I was fortunate to get one. Creative City Ballarat is Ballarat's such a creative city, and it's just getting more and more creative all the time. So that's one of the things I will put down that people should do if they're really interested, is to make sure they're on newsletters for all these different areas in that they can tap into. So Creative City often put out a lot of different opportunities, and one they put out a few months ago was to get an art support package from Art Support Australia. And Sophia, do you, I'm very bad at pronouncing names. We're not.
Yeah, so you have a mentor called Sophia.
Yeah, Jubawaki.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the
Yeah.
name.
She's based in Queensland. So we have I have 3 sessions with her, and I have so many tasks to do. But it's going to be revamping my website. So putting in a gallery and about section, updating my art CV, putting in a page where I can look for getting perhaps being a speaker at a conference. I've already done facilitation of a conference workshop in Darwin it was an all teacher one. That was really as a result of your brain on art. And I just want to be able to do more of those things, travel
Mhm.
with using my art as part of it. And anyway, so I got that. So I'm busy with all that at the moment. But
Mhm.
then I'll be able to, because Laura got me going with Square. So I have a website, but I will be adding more to it. I'll be adding a shop when I run workshops. I did one called The Joy of Stitching, which was really popular, and it's around using recycled vintage fabrics. So I love op shops, and I often get tablecloths and tea towels and napkins. And for this Joy of Stitching, I painted a circle of Zen, it's called Enzo, ENSO, Japanese circle of Zen, onto the fabric in different colors. And then I matched threads and little embellishments and all sorts of things, and an embroidery hoop. And everyone gets a kit when they come to one of my workshops. But I do have to do a lot of work on curating, or now working on pricing, because I've been very much underpricing myself and all the work that goes into these things.
Mhm.
Um, so I love doing these, but I'm going to now start having a shop where I can put a Circle of Zen kit online. I did a workshop recently called Bespoke Journal Covers. And here we have one here, dragonfly on it, of course. And then inside is all sorts of papers, because I want to encourage people to journal and to delve
Mhm.
into that gratitude and joy through journaling. So again, I put together a kit, and it has my hand painted fabrics um, in that, and that will be online. But I am
And
going to be,
it's, yeah, I think you're about to go into it and I just jumped in. But you do have workshops coming up in September and October in Ballarat,
Yes.
at Jillaroo, and you were talking about like maybe it's around best creating bespoke
Hmm.
surfaces or
Yes.
something like
Is that
that.
one I call bespoke journal cover? So
Mm.
people want, I've done a little bit of fabric painting just recently in one of the classes, but I'm going to have a workshop devoted to that. And it'll be called Bespoke Surfaces, something, 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 which I can't remember. But it's at Jillaroo, which is a community hub in Alfredton in Ballarat. It's magnificent. It means place of play. And I really love having workshops up there. And we're just going to play with paint and different ways of embellishing fabrics so that they can create their own fabrics, which they might bring to a later workshop where I'll do stitching. And then in October, I've got an event with the City of Ballarat for October.
Celebrate aging. Is it
Yes,
the aging one? Yeah.
yes. So, well, there's actually two things, but anyway, I've got a workshop that they've asked me to run for Seniors Week, but the Celebrate Aging project that I was involved with last week, that will also be launched then. So that's going to be quite an exciting project when it comes out. And there will be more information about that as it comes in my newsletter and also on my website when I get around to all these things.
Hey, are you a manifesting generator?
I don't know.
You need to do the assessment and find out. You can do lots of free ones online because you sound like you are.
Yeah, I think we did it a little while back, the human design. I
No,
can't remember if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, but I feel
well,
like yeah, you are one of them. I just can't.
You're one of them. It's all
Yeah,
right, Kay.
you're one of
If you
them.
are, I'm with you. It's all right. You're not alone.
Mm. Because you've got lots of like balls spinning in the air, and it's amazing because I love seeing like the joy and the excitement like come through your eyes. And obviously, like we've got that personal connection. We've been through like the
mm,
darkest of times together. So it's just amazing to see like your resilience and strength and like pulling from everything. And then now you're in this place and like you're all about community. You're using like art's healing power and sharing it with others and sharing your story like with the community and then impacting change around, senior living as well, like with
mm.
those two projects. Like it's pretty amazing the opportunities that have been magnetized to you.
It is quite amazing, and it's something
Mm,
I've wanted to do, that human design, because I know we've talked about it before, but I feel like I
mm.
haven't officially done it because I don't know my time of birth. And
Oh,
dear
yes.
mother,
That's
who's been gone,
I
right.
my dear mother who's
Yeah.
been gone for 20 years, hasn't communicated that to me as yet. So
it's
Sit
a
in
who
a,
knows?
you might need a channel or something.
good point. I actually,
Mm,
it's funny, isn't it? Even with my two girls, so I've got two kids, Kay.
Mm,
I know I can remember roughly what time they were born, but I don't
mm.
think it's documented. Like it's not on birth certificates or anything
Yeah, well,
like
that's
that.
what I thought. I thought maybe I can
Mm,
contact the hospital, but you're probably right.
mm,
So
mm.
mhm.
and my sisters, of course, they don't remember. I know just, but yeah, like my son, he didn't want to come into the world. He just had to be. I had this patient doctor who was rubbing. I remember him rubbing talcum powder on my back, and he delivered six babies this weekend in Catherine. He was one of the main GPs, and then after 24 hours, Ben decided, okay, well, I'll come out. Anna ran into the world.
Different children, different ways from the
Yeah.
get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mm,
okay,
Can
but
I ask a question as well? Because I know,
yeah.
Kay, you've worked with Laura. Well, you've known Laura for a very long time, but she's been acting and helping you with business coaching for a number of years as well for you. How's that experience been with Laura? Like what are some of the key benefits of working with Laura Jane
oh,
Day?
innumerable. Like I would not be here today doing what I'm doing. So when work cover officially stopped paying me, when I reached retirement age, July 22, and I got an ABN number, Laura was already there going, okay, Kate, now the Ballarat Arts Foundation, they've got this grant coming out. How about we apply for a grant? And then we went through the process of that. And then later that year, that was the tourism one. that you ended up getting work. So there was a tourism project with Creative City Ballarat, which Laura ended up doing. I went through the process, so I learned how to do a PowerPoint again and get some of my rusty teacher skills back into action. But again, Laura was the motivator for that. And then it all became a bit more official 23 when I got my first workshop in Darwin to run, but I needed a website. So through Laura and her business coaching, even though we're in Ballarat, she set it up so we did Zoom meetings, and she stepped me through how to set up Square, not Squarespace, Square dot site. Is that what it is? Yes. The links will be below, I believe.
Yes, all your website and newsletter and
Yeah.
Instagram, everything in the show notes.
So taught me how to do that. And then that meant that I could actually advertise workshops. Oh, yeah. Canva. I learned how to do basic Canva to do a postcard and have a QR code, which is a magic thing, I think. So people could book. So the recent workshop that I did, this bespoke journal cover one, every morning when I'd open up my emails and there'd be Square says, and they give me the name of the person and all their details. And I'm like,
yay.
so it's kind of just been like this digital magic. I can now send out newsletters, but mail a lot. And I feel like a lot of this stuff has been, I don't do crosswords and I don't do Sudoku and all those things, but this is what sparks my brain. This is what keeps my brain active, all this new learning. And I'm kind of a bit of an Iris Apfel fan. She's one of my books over there. I haven't got her earrings on today. I actually have Frida's earrings on today. But I just love learning. And Iris Apfel, New York fashionist, who passed away last year at 102. I'm putting it out there, world. I'm my magnetic. I'll have another 30 plus years, thank you very much, of active living. Doing all these things because there's so many things I want to do and I've got sidetracked. Okay, newsletter, Canva, website.
Yeah.
They're my things, aren't they?
Because there was a term that you called yourself, and we were working on those mindset things too. Do you remember what you called yourself at the start with learning all the technology?
Oh, a digital dinosaur. Yeah, there's still little elements of that, but I'm learning, and I've got some online. I've got lots of projects to do, as I said, for Sophia over the next few months. So I'm not running any workshops in winter. I'm having a wee winter sabbatical, unpaid, of course, because I'm just on a pension. But anyway, I am manifesting that one. But yeah, so that I can work on all these things because I still get quite fatigued. I still do yoga nidra. I I'm very active. I go to the gym. I have a hydro program. I have a gym program. I walk my dog every day. So I try to stay as active as I can and do all those healthy things. And I don't know if I've answered the question or not.
Yeah, you try and balance it out. So you're having a winter sabbatical, but then you will kick back into your business and launching your workshops for September and October. So that'll all be in your newsletter. So sign up to Kay's newsletter if you're in Melbourne, Ballarat or surrounds and want to get in person and be in Kay's energy. And then also head over on Instagram. You're active there. And we did have one final question for the end, did we?
We
Roz?
do. Oh, yep. I'm looking it up. Okay, this is your final question, Kay. If you could go back and tell yourself one thing at the beginning of your art business journey, when you started to, want to take your art more seriously business-wise, what would it be?
He's very good at timing things. I think knowing the power of belief in myself that I have now, it would be to make sure that I continue to surround myself with the people and the messages that are going to really help me believe in what I have done and what I can do. I feel like my belief now in myself to be able to say that I'm magnetic and a connector and all those things. But you've got to do it with a team. You have to have a team with all of this. Like they say, it takes a tribe, a village to raise it, a family. Well, I believe it takes a village to support every person in this world. And I feel maybe that's two messages, because we all need our village.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what I'm so passionate about now, is trying to help people find that, and be part of that, but to believe in themselves. I think that we've all got a lot more resilience within ourselves than we realize. And you might be able to see it from there, but no, you can't. But anyway, that's my first tattoo, and it's a dragonfly, and it says courage, and it's have courage, take heart. And I only had that done 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago now. And I think we all have a lot more of that within us. So tap, tap, tap away and bring it out. Don't be afraid to bring it out.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're stronger together, aren't we? So yeah, we can always like raise each other up. I think that that's a beautiful message.
Thank you so much, Kay, for joining us today. It's been a great chat. Amazing to hear your journey, challenges and all, but where you have found yourself today is truly inspirational. So big thank you from us to you, and we'll chat with you soon.
Thank you so much, both of you. You are amazing, and I love listening to your podcast. I love the laughter, the belly laughs and the laughter and the joy, and you really do amazing work together.
Thank you. We'll keep the humor coming. All right. See you later. Chat to you soon.
Thanks, Kay.
Bye.